Loop, London, 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 London.
You're now listening to Loop London.
And welcome to the Urban Soundscapes radio show. You are tuned in to Bloop Radio London with me, your host Redfreya, and I'm here with a very special guest today, dear friend of mine, amazing producer James Harcourt.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to the show. Again, welcome back to the
thanks
show.
for having me again.
So for those of you that don't know, James actually joined us here on the radio show. We were talking about it before we came in. It was like 2 or 3 years ago, I think.
2, 3.
So today it's like a little bit of an update, and there's been a lot of big changes for you. One of the most exciting that you've just launched a new record label, 09. So we'll be jumping into that shortly. But yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, James, you're an acclaimed producer. You have releases on Renaissance, Siamese, Syncopat, Celador, some of your histories, all the S's. And yeah, you've been getting a lot of great music out that's been supported by some of the top tier global DJs and stuff. So yeah, it's obviously a big honor to have you here with us on the show today. Would you like to just kind of introduce yourselves to the listeners in your own words as well, in case anyone's not aware of your music and who you are?
Yeah, I'm still freaked out by that time delay on that screen over there. Yeah, basically, James Harcourt, I've been producing for years, but only really seriously, I say seriously, I only really found out what I was doing about 5 years ago and discovered what I really was as an artist. So yeah, I kind of produce, I suppose you'd call it, it's kind of techno, I suppose it's melodic techno, but not what you'd badge as melodic techno these days. I try to be a bit more experimental. I like emotion in the music. I like kind of a bit of hedonism in the music. It's club music really, mostly.
Yeah, and there's so many people that I've spoken to where I've mentioned like a track of yours or something, and a lot of people told me that you're like their favorite producer. You're definitely up there with your, the way that you are able to sort of glue elements together in your tracks is super interesting. And before we get into the whole starting the label and all the new releases that have come out recently, how's the DJ life been treating you over the past couple of years? I know you've been on a couple of international tours. Yeah, how's that been going?
Yeah, so I mean, I think I mentioned this last time, right? The like being an artist and being a DJ are just not the same thing, and the DJ life comes as a sort of side effect or something of producing. So I don't really seek gigs as such. Like, just if the offers come up and they're good, I'll take them. And the truth is, not many offers come up, but then some really amazing ones come up, right? So there was this thing in Mexico last year, and it was like an art project, and it was a stunning visually, almost more so like an art installation than it was as a normal DJ gig. But I've done a few like normal club DJ gigs as well. But this year, 2 have been cancelled, and
happens.
And that's really been it. So there hasn't been a lot of DJ life.
So this year, but you went on tour to India. I think it was like in the Christmas
actually, at the beginning of the year I was in India, for a couple.
And I think you told me at least a couple of those shows were really interesting. There was like an after party or something that you played.
Yeah, there was a really nice morning one in Sorry, I forgot about that.
I feel like I know all the details.
And that was pretty cool. But I was meant to go to a couple of other places after that, and I just kind of didn't. And other things have been happening. And I've started a label, like you say, and that's actually quite time-consuming.
Absolutely.
It's like surprisingly time-consuming, and I'm still a little bit anxious about making that commitment, because there's no point going half-hearted with these things. But if you go all in, and you're doing a lot of it yourself, so I mean, I've got a guy helping me a little bit, who's one of the artists who's sort of helping me run the label. But yeah, in terms of DJ gigs, I think the next one is probably going to be the second edition of that Mexico event.
And what was the name of that?
It's called Hypercube.
Hypercube. Whereabouts in Mexico?
So it's Mexico City.
Nice.
And yeah, I think they're going to go a little bit bigger. Last time it was actually in quite a small club, but they put this huge cube in, right? It's like a kind of, it's not their final design, but it's the whole concept is sort of based around a large suspended cube, and the idea is the artist is eventually going to be inside the cube, right? So you're performing inside.
You're inside the cube. Is it physical, or is it just made from lighting?
No, it's physical.
It's an actual real cube. This sounds so interesting.
There was trucks and all this kind of stuff, like bringing the thing.
Wow.
It was an amazing experience just to see the whole thing being put together.
Did you get much video content of it, or like did you maybe if you're going to do it again, maybe you should like take a video stream? Sounds like it would be super interesting.
Well, I think they did quite a lot of content, but I think they're going to go to a kind of a bigger show, and then probably there'll be more. There'll probably be a live stream of it this time. But we'll see what happens.
But that's very exciting. Any ideas when that might be happening? In case we actually do sometimes have listeners of the show who are based in Mexico. So
okay. So I'd imagine it will be October. I mean, we're just going to have a meeting this week to talk about everything. But yeah, I'd imagine it will be. I mean, normally a year, isn't it, between these things? I would have thought. Yeah.
Okay. That's very interesting. So I take it you probably won't be at ADE this year then. if you're going to more likely be in Mexico?
There's a possibility that I will actually.
Okay, so
But I mean, I can't really say because
yes,
it's all
you just
chat
don't know.
that's behind the scenes and stuff comes in and out,
Yeah.
ideas-wise. But there is a big chance of it actually.
Okay, that's exciting. Okay, so basically, people should check out your resident advisor and follow your tour schedule. And yeah, I mean, something I noticed from knowing you and speaking to you since you came on the show before is that you're obviously very disciplined as a producer, or at least that's the take that I would have from knowing you, that you work typically in the early mornings, and you kind of have a show up every day attitude, like don't miss a day, always keep kind of showing up, even if you're not feeling the creativity.
Yeah. Totally.
And you have a very like successful output, I think, because of that. But I wanted to just talk to you about your overall approach with making music. And obviously, you said that you kind of returned about 5 years ago, and we spoke like 2 or 3 years ago. So, do you feel like your process stays consistent, or are you changing the way you're doing things and adapting it?
Yeah, I'm trying to change it. I think there's been a phase where it's been a bit static, and you start to get bored, and something needs to change. Sometimes it can be as simple as just a new plugin, or sometimes it can be you just move stuff around. And this is why it's so interesting. We were talking about the artist who's releasing the second release on 09, Gabriel Atlas, who kind of works in a very live way, and kind of moves his setup around and reconnects things. So that can be one way to freshen it up. But what I find I sometimes need to do to shake things up is just to almost like just think, okay, now I'm going to just work more with broken up bass lines rather than long bass notes. Just something like that. Just some change in the way I'm putting together the percussion or something to shift my perspective. But in terms of the process, like getting up, just going in there, trying an idea, wait until I get something that feels exciting, and then finishing the track. I think I'll always stick to that as a process.
Because I think your process, obviously I speak to quite a lot of different artists who come on the show, and everyone has different ways they do things, and some people are much more, I wait until the idea grabs me, and that's when I would go in the studio and I would stay there for 24 hours, whereas it seems like your approach is more, like show up every day, and then that kind of gets you through those roadblocks.
Yeah, definitely. You just play around, and then something comes up, and then you get the idea like that. And often the best ideas come at the moments when you feel the most bored or something. Like when you go in there at the beginning, you think, I cannot possibly imagine that in 15 minutes from now I might be onto something good. All I can see is I'm just going to be bored, and I'm going to be scrolling on Instagram or something. Do you know what I mean?
No, I can relate to that.
So that gives me the impetus to show up, because I know that almost like the less you feel like it, the more special the thing will be when you eventually turn that corner. So.
Yeah,
but sometimes it's only 15 minutes.
Yeah, but it's sort of keeping that consistency in, because I think sometimes if you really get into a funk and then you drop out of doing it regularly, it's easy to just not open your production software for a while, and then it sort of gets
really
dusty.
Damaging.
Yeah,
that's really damaging, I think.
Throws you out of the kind of process. It's probably a bit to do with like the neural processing as well in your brain, and like keeping your mind in that headspace of understanding the music and stuff.
Yes.
Music-wise, releases and stuff. I mean, you've had a couple of big releases this year, I think, earlier in the year. Is that right? Or obviously, we've just had the new track that's just the launch of the label with a new EP.
Yeah, I've just put a new EP out, 3-track EP. Earlier this year, oh God, I can't even remember what came out this year. I did a single track on Siamese. I can't remember if that was this year or last year. Body and Soul.
That's been a big one. I think that was. I can't remember when exactly myself either, but I know I played it in one of my shows. So. It
was Denmark,
yes,
or Copenhagen.
Which I think was like a year ago. So that would have been a year ago.
So I put an EP out. I've got one coming out shortly with Syncopad, but earlier this year I had... Was it Renaissance? I can't remember. This is so embarrassing.
No, it's fine. You have a lot of music coming out like all the time. The new EP that's just come out on the label, obviously the title track, I'm going to let you say the name.
Oh yeah, Aesthesis.
Aesthesis,
yeah.
I think I played that one in the gig with Mind Against. I can't remember, but I think that was the one there.
Yes,
but it was beautiful, and it went off so nicely in Coco. Do you feel like that's come out now? And do you feel like the reception's been reasonable? Anyone's been
I think it's been all right. I mean, given it's a new label, right, and it's like, and I get no support from Beatport, because with Beatport you've got this thing where you have to pitch stuff in advance, and I kind of dropped the ball on that stuff, so it just went without any kind of, I had to do all the fanfare myself.
Yeah.
Given that, it's done really well. Like in terms of streams, the numbers are higher than my previous. I did a thing with the streaming where I made a short version. I don't like this radio edit thing, but I made a kind of like 3 to 4 minute version of each, like carefully, so it keeps the essence of the track. It doesn't just like chop off the beginning and the end crudely.
Yeah.
And I think in the Spotify world, that kind of engages people a bit more than an 8-minute track or 7-minute track with a really long intro. I think there's people drop off a bit with that, whereas club DJs who go onto Beatport, they hear that bit in the middle and they want it for the stuff that's in the middle.
Yeah.
So I think running my own label has helped me get that stuff right. But yeah, it's doing all right so far, and I've had a few videos come through. It's done all right in terms of charting and stuff, and the reception's been pretty good, for a new thing on a new label. I was kind of worried, I think as everyone who starts a new label is, that your stuff's just going to disappear without trace.
Yeah, you were worried about that? You
a little bit, yeah, because it's a new label, right?
Yeah.
And if it's a new label, no one's heard of it. How are they going to... You have to just basically shout yourself from the rooftops to get people to listen.
It's a lot of promoting and stuff, but I guess it's good because you already have a name and you have a really solid fan base. And I think I was looking on your SoundCloud earlier. You've got like 8,000 followers on your SoundCloud, so people are really a big fan of your production. And are you also on Ekio? Are you on the Ekio platform?
Yes,
yeah.
I am. Ekio, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like people know what you're doing, and you're kind of also you're doing other things as well. But before we get into a bit more about the label, should we just have a bit of a listen to the track that we're just speaking about? So
I'll put the title track on from the EP, Ace Thesis.
Ace Thesis.
This is Blue London Radio.
Nice. All right. So that is Aesthesis. Is
Yep.
that right?
Yep.
Which is the title track of the 3-track EP. It's 3 tracks?
Yeah, 3-track EP on 09 Music.
Nice. And when did that come out? A few weeks ago.
It's been out a week. It'll be 2 weeks on Friday.
Oh, so it's quite recent then.
Yeah, really recent. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Well, cool to have a little debut. That's probably the first time it's been played here on Bloop. So that's cool. And we were just speaking when we were off air just now about a release that you did for Mira. What's the name of the label?
Mizzy Music.
Mizzy Music. And is it Mila Stern?
Mila Stern and Mira.
Who are running it together. That's also quite a new label. And you did was it a remix track or an original, that one?
It was a 3-track EP,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd given Mira, I think, all of them, plus another one, and then she'd been sort of playing them and testing them for a couple of months, and then said, we'd like to sign them for our new label. But there was quite a long gap between that and them coming out. 'Cause they took them a while to get the label off the ground and get an artist in and everything like that. So
yeah. And that's a really cool label. I mean, obviously Mira's had her past with, I think, working with Kiosk ID previously.
Kiosk ID, with Christopher Schwarzwalder.
Yeah. I really like the music that's coming out from the label. And on this EP, you said there were 3 tracks.
Yes.
And this one that we're speaking about specifically, Hedonista, has been very supported. I think it was picked up. It was played by Kind of Music.
Yeah, one of the guys from Kind of Music,
Adam Port. Anyone else that you saw?
Mira was playing it a lot. I saw it come up on. I can't remember. It has come up with some other names. I don't think the proggy people haven't been playing it. The progressive house people.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's a bit more in the indie dance space as a track, or?
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? That's why I love it, because someone messaged me saying, "Oh, I heard blah blah playing your track, and I wondered how you did the guitar on it." And I'm like, okay, I like that because I'm not playing a guitar on it, but it's just a really weird synth. So I think the sound design is, you can't place it to a genre, I suppose. You just say techno, but musically, it's like somewhere between progressive and indie, and yeah, it's just somewhere in the middle, which is where I like to be.
Nice. And have you played in Berlin before?
No, and I should have done. I had an opportunity, but Babetta invited me to Rita Butska once, and I kind of a combination of felt stressed about going there and then going to India very shortly afterwards. In the end, the India one got cancelled, and I turned down the Rita Butska
As
one.
happens, yeah.
And a lot of other people have said, "Oh, you should come here, you should come there." But I just haven't coordinated it, but I will.
Because I can imagine your sound working really well in Berlin in a lot of the clubs there. I've heard that Sisyphos is a really nice club to play.
Yeah.
I've got a few friends who played there. And
I've heard about the parties there.
I heard it's pretty crazy, and it's really common for DJs to be playing kind of 4 or 5 hour sets as well, and they kind of go all night and all day, and you can play into like the afternoon and whatever, so you have so much freedom as a DJ. So obviously you've got a release on a Berlin-based label, so yeah, it seems like that would be a really logical step.
Yeah, hopefully that will happen this year. I've had a few people ask, but there's nothing coordinated. It's just a case of coordinating something.
And talking about the launch of 09 and the label, I mean, obviously you said it's a lot of work and there's a lot that goes involved in running a label. Obviously there's a lot of admin, there's a lot of all the legal processing and what's it called, like music streaming rights and all this stuff.
Yeah, boring.
Someone has to do that job if you're the artist running the label. But yeah, what was the kind of impetus behind starting a label in the first place, launching your own thing, and also a bit like the creative vision for you, sound-wise and aesthetically as well?
Okay, so I ran a label years ago, right? And it was a vinyl label, and I really did enjoy having that platform where I didn't have to be constantly trying to please another label in order to get signed, because I think that does to some degree compromise your creativity, because at some point, even if you've got a label that believes in you, they might take a different turn or you might take a different turn, and then you're kind of, and you want to have a way to... So it's either self-releasing without a label, which a lot of people do with Spotify, but I also wanted to... It sort of just came together because an artist, Emmanuel Donzo from France, got in touch with some pictures saying she'd been inspired by hearing, I think it was Body and Soul or Bloom, one of the ones, I heard Adriatique play it at an X event, I think, in France. And I was looking at the paintings, and then she said, "Oh, I've got a load more here." And I looking through them, I was thinking, this is just... I loved it, right? And it just resonated. And I thought, okay, this could be like the theme of a label, and we could have feature a different piece of art, on each release. So that sort of came together, and then I got sent a demo. I'm pretty sure when I got sent that demo, I immediately sent it to you, didn't I? The one from Gabriel Atlas.
You did send
True
me
Neptune.
very early days. Yes, you sent me and you said,
I
this
said,
is amazing. Listen to this.
The guy sent me,
Shout out to
normally when
Gabriel.
someone sends you a SoundCloud link on Instagram, at the risk of sounding mean, it's normally going to be underwhelming, right? Or it's not going to blow your mind like that, like a life-changing kind of track. And then immediately there was like, okay, I can see there's a platform to release this track. This is the sort of music I want to release. And I just, at that moment, there was just a surge of energy. I want to go and do this. And then the reality kicked in of, the admin and the music right. But then AI takes a lot of the grief out of contract checking, and you know what I mean?
That's
Some of that really
good.
boring stuff you can now at least speed it up. You still have to do stuff, but it's just not as quite as time consuming as it was.
And I suppose as the label kind of grows a little bit and grows traction, you can maybe also enlist some help from someone else to help you with like labels kind of work as a bit of a team job. But that's very exciting that Gabriel is also, so the opening track of the show today was a track from him, and he's obviously a very creative producer. When is his release on the label scheduled?
So his is coming. We've pushed it back a bit. It was going to be August 29th. It's now going to be mid-September.
Okay. Very nice. I think we also have a plan for him to come here on the radio show as well and have a chat to him about his process.
Yeah, amazing creative mind and amazing producer.
And is it also, I imagine you're working on a lot of your own tracks as well. Is it also to have a place, your own imprint, where you can kind of put out lots of your own music and be a bit more free with the style? Do you ever feel like when you want to release music to specific labels that you kind of curtailed to a certain sound, or what's been your experience with that?
I mean, there's a thing where a label will feel, I'll maybe send them 10 tracks or something, and they'll say, okay, we want these 3. And in my back of my mind, I'm thinking, I would prefer it if it was these 3, or those 2 plus this one. But oftentimes they've got good, they pick the same, Like Mira picked the right track. She also asked me about what the order, and we agreed on that. So oftentimes there is alignment, but I just kind of wanted to also be able to be in charge of like the imagery, behind it, because that's really important these days. Like the covers and the visual element of it. That's hard work as well, by the way. Like trying to get that stuff right, it's quite difficult. I wish I could do it all myself, the creative stuff, but it takes. There's a lot of other skills required to do visuals. That's another thing.
I mean, with the visuals that you're doing, who are you working with for that? Is it an artist or
well, there's obviously the artist doing the stills, which is actual paintings, like acrylic on canvas, and then there's some visual artists, different ones at the moment, trying to get things right. And there's someone did a really great thing for us on the first one, not so great for the second one so far. So we're working on that, to get that stuff right. But the idea is to have enough stuff that we can use at events, essentially, as well as maybe even produce. I mean, I really love the idea of producing a physical product occasionally, and I wanted to do it for every release, but it's very expensive to produce vinyl.
Yeah.
You've got an outlay of like 1,500 quid, and then you've got to sell them to make it back. And then once you
you have to do 500 a run of, like, you can't just do 10 vinyls.
No.
You have to do a printing press.
Because the cost of doing 10 is the same as the cost of doing 250 or something.
Yeah.
But then you have to sell like 250, 300. But there's a lot of people who want vinyl. Almost as people who don't even own decks want vinyl just for like a collector's thing. I mean, I kind of do. And so the idea is to kind of put something out there that to me sounds beautiful, that looks beautiful, and in some way make the world a better place like that.
That's amazing. And I really like this whole approach of being so integrated with the art as well, and kind of having a really like handcrafted approach. I think that's really nice, especially in today's day and age where it feels like things can be a little bit throwaway sometimes.
Yes.
Especially like in the dance music world, there's like 100,000 new tracks coming out every day, and when everything's digital, not saying that things have to be physical music. There's nothing wrong with digital music, but it's like the more individuality that you're putting into a release, especially with handcrafted artwork and stuff like that, I think it's giving it that soul more. Maybe.
Yeah. And also there's a churning thing that happens a little bit lately where stuff's being put out on a very high velocity, and it feels like it's a little bit to make money, like there's stuff coming out very, very frequently, and I want to do something that's a bit less frequent, which is probably not the best move in terms of gathering momentum, but in terms of having things that are special and there's real care put into it and there's curation. So that means discipline on my side. Like, I'm not just going to release all the tracks that nobody will sign.
Yeah.
That's one way that labels can be for an artist. Like
Yeah.
you just got to almost like a dumping ground for the stuff that's been rejected by the rest of the world.
Yeah.
That you believe in, but nobody else does. Right? I didn't want it to be that. I wanted it to be music that other people might sign, but I'm not going to show it to them first. I'm going to make it for 09. That's the philosophy behind it.
No, it's a really artistic project. And do you envisage events maybe as well? You said
Yeah,
maybe
I do. I mean,
some
there is.
parties.
We got an offer from, I think, a friend of yours as well, George from Not for Sale Gallery,
Yeah.
who said we'll give you the space if you because I'm curating for the summer. So there's I think an early hours thing. I think 6 till 11. Nice and civilized.
Yeah. That will be really good though. That will definitely. We're doing an event there with my collective as well in Limbo with Motip White. We're doing a show actually next week there, so it can be the little test run, and then I'll let you know how it's going to go. But George is amazing. I mean, I know him from back in the day as his job. He's also as well as he's a producer and a DJ and an artist, but he's also a sound tech and stuff. So he's got tons of amazing lighting, and the sound will be really good.
He was telling me he was doing the stuff at Egg, right? He was doing Egg.
He's done Egg sound, and then I met him when I used to be resident at Beat Club. He was also there. So I used to sometimes do like 3-hour-long warm-up sets. So when it wasn't too busy, so me and him would end up having long chats in the DJ booth. So yeah, he's the best.
No, that sounds really interesting, and yeah, we're going to go ahead with that on 23rd of August.
23rd of August. Is it paid, like tickets available, or how are you doing the ticketing, or how can people find out to attend?
We're going to make an announcement, I think, either this Friday or next Friday, and yeah, we're just deciding at the minute whether it's going to be ticketed or not.
Okay. So the announcement's coming quite soon. And Saturday, 23rd of August, for the showcase of the sound. So that would be really cool. Should we have a listen to the track? I really wanted to play it on the show. The one from Mizzy Music that has been supported. So this one is Hedonista. Is that right?
Yeah, Hedonista.
Yeah. mics are working. Yes. So that one is Hedonista, which is out with Mizzy Music.
Yep.
That one is definitely, I can see why it was like so picked up widely. It's definitely got something really special about the sound design, and the way that the synths, like the big gliding synth in the middle.
It's kind of weird sound design. I mean, I recorded some synths. It was a totally different track. I loved that track as it was, but I kind of got fed up with it, and I sort of halved everything. I do this thing where you pitch it down. It's almost like when you play a record at half speed. And it just sounded so much better, this lead. And I did that and did some pitch shifting, and then it just sort of evolved into something that sounded really interesting. And then it's like slidey, bending kind of synths. I've used them a couple of times on tracks.
What are you, if we can ask for some production like secrets and stuff, what kind of stuff are you using to do this? Are you using VSTs, or are you just using the synth itself? What synths are your go-tos? So
on that particular track, like the slidey, bendy, bassy thing is the Moo, because it's got really good, like it's called portamento. The thing that makes
I love the portamento, yeah.
And you can just control how fast it goes and how slow it goes, and that's just fun. And then the other thing, that guitar sound, as someone said, is something called Nord. Clavier Nord.
Nord.
And I got that synth because there was a guy called D. Ramirez. I'm not sure if you know about him. He kind of ended up being like a tool room artist and more housey, but he started off quite progressive. And one of the most inspirational producers to me from way back. And he had one of those, and that's what made me buy it. And also a guy called Sébastien Léger had it. You know him, the guy from All Day I Dream, I think.
Yeah, I think he has. Yeah, Lost Miracle. He has his whole own label series and party now.
Yeah. So he was also had one of the Nords, and I remember listening to their productions and thinking, this just sounds amazing. It's got a really distinctive sound.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's really it's
metallic, and it's not an analog synth, but it's just got its own unique sound. So I use that, and to do all the stretching and bending and stuff. For that sound, I just use Cubase, like this stuff that's built into the DAW. So most of these things have got a feature, and you can make a shortcut key to say just halve the speed of it. So you can just try it, and then if it doesn't work, just Control Z, undo it. Do you know what I mean? So you just get fast at trying. You just want to get to that point where you can try something and without having to take ages over it, and then just hear, does it resonate and really connect? And if it doesn't, just go back.
And in terms of your production, how do you find the process of finishing your tracks? I mean, this is obviously, for a lot of producers, everybody says the hardest part is the last 10% and the last 5%. I'm not sure if that's the case for you, because it seems like you are very good at sort of getting your tracks finished and out there. But yeah, do you feel like the whole thing is a smooth process, or is it easier for you to kind of get the tracks halfway finished? And
it used to be really easy for me to start them and then just go off them and then not really finish them. And that's just a terrible habit to be in. I was in that habit for years. What I do now is I try to finish it during the excitement phase, because the excitement wears off after you heard it enough times.
Yeah, right? And then you get bored and you're like, what is this? And you hate it.
Yeah, and that's just terrible. But one way to get out of that is just to try to get faster at it, which only happens with time. Yeah. So it's really important to finish that last bit of the track. So that's the arranging, and then do a rough mix. So you practice that whole process, even if the track doesn't end up being the one. I think you've just got to have it in your mind that you've got to be prepared to let this go at the end if it's not up to it. And as you're going, but if you're feeling, this isn't up for it, and you're up to it during the beginning, then bail out and start again.
Yeah. There's no point in finishing a track that's the wrong sounds, or it's like...
You've got to get that stuff at the beginning really right, and just take time. Sometimes that can be like a couple of mornings. I'll go in the morning and I'll play with a combination of sounds, and it's like, well, it's convincing, but it's just not that exciting. So I can hear it being a track that I could hear in a club or something, but I'm not going to be excited by it. So at that point, I go back and make sure I keep playing with the sounds till it's something that's like makes you feel something.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you quickly before we jump into another track, just about the whole work-life balance of being a producer and working on multiple different projects. I know you do these sort of masterclasses, or you do track feedback sessions. Yeah. You also do some mixing and mastering on the side. You've done some for me, which was amazing, on some of my tracks. You're really good at that. So, but yeah, how do you find... it's obviously a long day starting work. You start on your productions, like 5-6 in the morning?
Yeah, lately it's been a bit later, but on a good day, it's like 4:30 or 5. Basically, the earlier the better.
Why do you start so early? Is it because you feel fresh in the morning?
Yeah, you're not giving your energy anywhere. It's still everywhere. It's meditative, right? You can just go into a state of And that's also. I think I said this on the last show I was here. Like it's therapeutic. Like just in the same way that I guess meditation is for someone, where you're just totally focused on, it might be your breathing, but in this case it's just the music, and you forget about everything, and it actually sets up the day better.
No distractions at all.
Distractions.
Whereas when if it's daytime or the evening, there's a lot else going on.
I find it really hard in the middle of the day to work when there's cars beeping and voices and I can't do it.
It's funny because me and you have had this discussion a few times about production and workflows, and I always say to you, I love starting at like 10 p.m. and working till 6 a.m. Like that's my favorite time, and my best time of producing is after midnight, but before 4 a.m. it's sort of these hours of the night time. And then you always said to me, oh no, it's better to do it in the morning, but in some ways we're sort of doing the same thing, because I get the same thing of working through the night time. It's silent, and but I just quite like it when it's dark, because if you're making club music, it makes me feel more like I'm making music for the nightclub. Yeah.
And I'll be completely honest, the middle of the night is the best time. Like if I could do it at 2 a.m, I would, and it would always be.
I tend to get to that point because I would stay up, whereas it seems like you just go to sleep and then you get up in the middle of the night.
And it's the next best thing, and you're half asleep, and ideally it's still dark, and that's when the best stuff comes.
So winter time is what we like, really, because in the summer obviously it's getting light so early. Yeah,
and I struggle in the summer a little bit. Sometimes, I had a phase, a couple of months where just nothing good enough was coming out. And I was going round with certain tracks, and I was thinking, I'm in a funk here. And then I just came out of it as soon as, I think it was when the clocks changed.
All right, shall we have a little listen to, this is one of the tracks coming out on the label, is that right?
That's right, yeah. So this is Z9002, which is the second release on 09, and it's Gabriel Atlas and his debut EP, a track called True Neptune.
Okay, so this is the debut. Let's have a listen.
Cold blood like treacle on me. roof like gunpowder smoke. You got me suffocating, suffocating, heavy on the road.
Wow, I love that one. I love that one. I'm gonna that's unreleased, right?
That's unreleased. It's coming later this year on my label.
I'm gonna get special your guest on my radio show privileges to get a copy of that one, because that is a really nice track. I'd love to play that in some of my upcoming shows. That is vocalist, you said Leo Wood. Yeah. Beautiful voice.
Yeah, very soulful.
And really, really nice track. What do you know the label? Can you tell us? I don't know how this
it's coming on my label.
Oh, it's coming on 09. That's so nice.
It's going to be the third release.
Ah, that's really cool. I feel like this one will do really well, because I think people also, tracks with nice vocals like this, it kind of just gives the track an automatic kind of hook, and people tap into it. So that's really exciting.
Yeah. It's actually a three track EP with 3 different vocalists.
All female vocalists or
2 female, 1 male.
Nice. Do you like working with vocalists? Like, how do you find the process?
I love working with voice. I like to be creative with voice. I don't necessarily always, and this is what I've been saying sometimes with a vocalist who's written a song. I sometimes like to take bits and make something different from it, which can sometimes conflict. But I mean, one of these tracks was a real collaboration. That one was more as to featuring, so I've taken the vocal and taken the bits I like. And the other one is like fragments. Yeah, it's a really nice EP.
Because I guess it's kind of like sampling, right? Like you're a producer, you're taking the sample, you're gonna chop it up
Yeah,
and put it in different places.
You're just getting a really magical part to work with, essentially. You can see it like that, or you can see it as there's a song here and you want to do justice to the song.
Yeah.
There's two different approaches.
Two different ways of doing things. I wanted to ask you, obviously you doing a lot of remixes. You told me you've got a few coming out soon.
Yes.
How do you find the remixing process? Do you enjoy it? Do you have your kind of James Harcourt toolkit of you're like, well, this is my baseline I always put in to give it the stamp of your sound, or is it a different approach?
Sort of. I mean, I love remixing. I don't love doing it all the time. Like if you've had a long phase of doing originals, I then feel like now's the time to do a load of remixes. So what I tend to do is like just open up whatever the parts pack they've given me. Ideally, it's not just all the stems. Ideally, it's like fragments, because then you don't get locked into how it was, how their track was. And then I stop listening to whatever the original was as well to get that out of your mind. And then I just go through each part and just think, do I love this sound? And if the answer is no, I'll mark it in grey or something. And if I love it, I'll mark it in pink or something. And then just try and distill it down to the sounds you love. And then at that point, just anything can happen. Like sometimes I'll use their kick drum. Sometimes I'll just take one of their parts, like a pad, and I'll say, okay, let's just drop this like 4 octaves and just make the bass line out of it. Do you know what I mean? And just do any old mad stuff like that. That's how I like to approach it. But then at some point I will start to bring my kick drum. I'd use the same kick drum on pretty much every track. I mean, it gets pitched and the length changes and all that sort of stuff. And I'll bring in my percussion sounds, and I might turn on the Moog and the Nord and just see if there's a place for them. And yeah, it kind of, they just come together like that. And then sometimes there'll be 2. I'll do one idea and they'll do another one, and then just see which one feels best after a couple of days. That's how the Better one came along, which I think I played last time I was on this show, and that was really, really popular.
Yeah.
But it was the second of 2 ideas that really like hit the mark.
But I really like that the process of going through the sounds and identifying them. It's really interesting to hear your process about that. Have you done many? You have a channel. I don't know if it's the Echo or a Patreon channel, or something where you do sort of walk through things.
Yeah, the Echo. I've done a couple of walkthroughs, but mostly that's like track feedback.
Yeah.
Where people send like snippets or whatever of their record, and I'll give them. Well, they'll send the whole track actually, and I'll say what's good about it, what's bad, what can be better, that sort of thing.
Have you done many with your own tracks, like walkthrough tutorials, or
Yeah, I've done a few. I don't do them on a platform as such. I do them through. I just put like bite-sized ones out through label, like the labels I've released with normally, and I've done a couple with Zero. I've done one actually with 09 for the track Radiate.
Yeah.
And people love that sort of content because I think it just gives them a window into how you solve certain production problems.
Totally. And I think everyone has their own way of doing things, right? And you've been doing this a long time, so you have your own way. Well, I think that brings us up to the hour. So thank you so much for being here with us,
Thank
James, and sharing so much of your insight and some of the beautiful new music that's coming out on 09. For anyone who's new to James' music, you can find him on SoundCloud, Instagram, all the places, Beatport, etc. Check out the label 09 on Insta as well. And as we said, they have a showcase coming up on the 23rd Saturday of August. That'll be you, Gabriel Atlas.
I think it's just us 2 at the moment.
Yep, nice. And that's in Hackney Wick. So, yes, wonderful. Thanks for being here, James.
Thank you, Freya.
Loop, London.